As the saying goes, the only sure things in life are death and taxes. But what happens when a man or woman dies and there is no way to identify them? Where do these unclaimed bodies go and where do they end up? In this special report, 10 TV's Chuck Strickler goes behind the scenes at the Franklin County Coroner's Office to get some answers.
A woman, possibly in her 20s, strangled to death. Her decomposed body found in some bushes near the Hoover Reservoir back in 1983. It's the oldest unsolved case in Franklin County. Somebody's daughter left forgotten and alone.
They've never even solved the crime because they don't even know who she is to start with.
Liz Weber is an investigator with the Franklin County Coroner's Office. She's busy every day assisting with the retrieval and autopsies of bodies. But this detective of the dead says it's not just about determining the cause of death.
This is a constant work in progress.
This file folder at the morgue never goes away. It contains information on all the John and Jane Does, bodies that have never been identified back to 1983. There are a total of 9 outstanding cases.
In the earliest cases, I was 2 years old when these happened. They contain anthropology reports that say their height.
Liz and her colleagues look for any identifying clues, fingerprints, surgical implants, dental records, tattoos, exhausting every possible lead.
The last unidentifiable person, a true John Doe, was 2007.
Franklin County Coroner Dr. Jan Gorniak performed the autopsy on this man found in the Scioto River in Columbus. Her office displays photos like this on the coroner's website. Or in the case of this unidentified male found in the Scioto River a year before, sketches, even a sculpted mold of what the man may have looked like.
It's a big challenge for you and your staff?
Yes. Well, when people aren't identified and there's no identifying information left behind with them, it's a real hard task that we have to go after to try to find somebody. This is the cooler where every person that comes in, after they get admitted, they are put into the cooler.
Dr. Gorniak says on this day, a dozen bodies, all identified, are waiting to be claimed by loved ones. But if a month passes and no one comes forward, bodies are moved to the freezer and kept at a constant temperature of 20 degrees.
What we know is a frozen body doesn't decompose. These 4 people that are in the freezer have been identified, but we just don't know next of kin. We haven't found next of kin yet.
And finding a relative, even a friend of the deceased, can also be a never-ending challenge.
Everybody is somebody. So, and I think whether their next of kin isn't found, they belong to somebody. So we want to treat them respectfully and bury them, because being in a freezer or cooler isn't proper.
Unidentified bodies are not cremated just in case they are eventually identified and a family member comes forward to claim them, or if evidence is needed to help solve a crime. The bodies are kept in the morgue's freezer for about a year. Then they are buried here at East Lawn Cemetery in North Columbus. About a dozen plots lined up one after the other with nameless headstones.
For us to be here today.
In an act of dignity and respect, the coroner's office held a mass funeral here 13 years ago. And since that time, some of these John Does have been identified, finally remembered, resting in peace. But others lie here, still nameless.
How sad is that?
It's very sad when we all are connected to somebody. We're all here. And it's sad when we have people that aren't missed. It's frustrating because you know they existed, and there's people that are attached to them. We just can't find them.
In Columbus, Chuck Strickler, 10 TV News.
When bodies are identified, investigators use many resources to try to find a close relative or friend, even resorting to putting obituaries in the paper to get help from the public. If there is no money or the family wants nothing to do with the body, the coroner's office arranges for cremation or burial of the bodies with the help of a number of funeral homes.